What's up, family? How y'all doing? It's your girl, your diva. And knowledge, Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Well, I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. If you are new to my channel and you just recently subscribed, I thank you and I welcome you to Mocha's Cafe de Paris family. If you won my A1s from day one and you've been with me since I started my channel since 2017, I appreciate you for still being loyal and still being a big part of my platform, and although we not always agree or have the same viewpoints, I appreciate you for being mature enough to still be subscribed to me, even though I may not always be for what you're for and I'm not always against what you're against. So nevertheless, I definitely appreciate y'all who have the maturity to be able to understand that we all are entitled to our own opinions. We all are entitled to our own indifferences. So nevertheless, I wanted to get directly into tonight's content. Well, it's nighttime for me because I'm uploading it at night. But I'm definitely going to upload this tomorrow. So y'all will probably be viewing this content tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. So I definitely wanted to go into this gender war disease that's been plaguing the Black YouTube sector, and it's been spreading like cancer. And I would definitely like to say, this past few weeks, these past couple of days, the Black YouTube sector has just been a shitstorm. It's been a shitstorm, and it's been a shit show. It really has been. And at this point, we are really at a state of an emergency, and it's definitely going to continue to get worse. I don't see it improving at this point. I just have no faith in my people, meaning Black men and Black women. I just don't have any more faith in us at this point. It's only a select few that are woke to what's going on, and it's a lot of them who aren't getting the notoriety, who really have the knowledge, the ones that are really woke and have a high sense of spiritual awareness. They'll never get their message across because it's being over flooded by all the negativity, by all the gender war beefing. The message is not going to get across. The message is not going to be delivered because it's too much controversy that's getting all the shine right now. It's too many people, that are going back and forth, and therefore, right now, it's all about people trying to prove their points and their narratives at this point, and it's not about people being woken to what spiritually what's really going on with the Black community. So nevertheless, I didn't want to talk too much about this, but I'm very passionate when it comes to Black men and Black women having a common ground, because I feel like we've come so far. It's a lot that we have had to conquer, a lot that our ancestors have had to conquer for us to get to this place in life where we actually have a voice, where we actually have freedom of speech, where we actually have things that they were deprived of, simple things that we take advantage of, getting online, talking shit, going back and forth, things that our ancestors would have got slapped for, would have got chastised for, would have got beaten for. And now, being that we've not from that era and we've never had to experience that, we don't have any compassion for how far our ancestors have come for us to be able to handle things more diligently, because we really don't care. And the truth of the matter is, whenever now that Black men and Black women have a voice, they're over abusing the privilege of the freedom of speech. They're over abusing it. And this is where we are now. And we are at a detrimental state of an emergency in which this gender war outrage is at an all-time high. Disrespect has become the norm. It is so, disrespect has become so welcomed in the Black community. And when I mean Black community, I'm talking more so online community, I'm just trying to stay in one lane, but nevertheless, it has become the norm. Disrespect has become the norm. So, getting more down to the steak and potatoes, I want to go more into the gender war disease. And I know some of y'all probably have never really heard this concept. And this was a concept that I created, that I came up with myself. The gender war disease. And if you look up the definition of disease, it states as follows: a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant, especially one that produces specific signs or symptoms, or that affects a specific location. And it's simply and it is not simply a direct result of physical injury. Now, I know that the definition does not seem to correlate with where I'm going with this topic, but as I go more into this content, all of you who will be able to comprehend, and y'all will be able to put the pieces together as to how this definition correlates with the content that I'm distributing to y'all. So we're going to take it by pieces and kind of break it up so we can break down the elements. So the first part of the definition says a disorder of structure or function in a human. And basically, when I talk about when the definition displays a disorder of structure or a function in a human, animal, or plant, especially one that produces a specific signs or symptoms, or that affects a specific location and simply not direct or physical injury. It also another definition of particularly quality, habit, or disposition regarded as adversely affecting a person or group of people. So when we talk about disease, a disease is a group of something. It can be a group of humans, a group of animals. It's a group. And within that group, there's a disorder of structure, or there's a disorder in how that group functions, how that group operates with one another. The doctor tells you you have a disease in your body. If your doctor tells you, for instance, that you've been diagnosed with a kidney disease, that means your kidneys are not functioning correctly. And the reason your kidneys are not functioning correctly is because there has been some type of infiltration. It's been an infiltration. Disease, to me, and with all due respect, because I know a lot of people out here got different diseases, and this is not to make a mockery out of anyone who's struggling with some type of disease. This is more relating to uh the online community. So I don't want anybody thinking I'm making a mockery out of people who got a disease. This is not in reference to people that got certain medical diseases, but I'm talking about the disease in the Black online community, the Black YouTube sector. A disease is an infiltration. If your doctor tells you you have a kidney disease, means your kidneys are damaged and can't filter blood the way that they should. So basically, there's been an intrusion. There's been a disruption. Something happened. Something took place that caused some type of damage, some type of injury, some type of malfunction. So if the doctor tells you you have a kidney disease, that means your kidneys are damaged and can't filter blood the way that it should. And anybody who's familiar with kidneys, if your kidneys can't filter blood correctly, that means you are at a greater risk for a kidney disease. Meaning, if you have, especially in the stakes even higher, if you have diabetes or high blood pressure, if you experience kidney failure, that's when you have to resort to a more extensive level of treatment, like kidney transplant, a worst case dialysis. So how I would correlate a kidney disease is basically that's the same way the gender war disease is operating with black men and black women as a whole. So when you talk about kidneys being damaged and can't filter blood the way they should, that pretty much correlates with damaged black women and scorned black men. Damaged individuals, and I know that's burning some of y'all right now because you want me to pick sides. You want me to talk about how damaged the men are. You want me to talk about how damaged the women are. I mean, I know I'm not going to get a lot of thumbs up for this content because you got to pick and choose sides. You have these damaged individuals who can't filter, in this case, have no filter, which is why they are not able to function properly. Just like kidneys that are damaged and can't filter blood the way that they should, you have damaged black men and black women who can't grow, who can't elevate because they have allowed the gender war disease to infiltrate how they perceive one another. And just like when kidneys are damaged and they can't filter blood, you can't filter knowledge through damaged individuals. Just like a damaged kidney, there's no blood flowing correctly through a kidney because it has severe damage. That is what's going on with the black community as a whole. You cannot reach these individuals. There's no filter. They have a blockage in which they are comfortable with the way their minds are programmed. You have black women that are comfortable with the way their minds are programmed as to how they perceive black men. They're comfortable with their hate for black men. They're comfortable with their resentment. They're comfortable with their anger towards black men. They are comfortable. It has become their safety net. The same thing with some of these black men out here. Their anger, their animosity towards black women that makes them feel so comfortable in disrespecting black women and challenging black women and attacking black women verbally all the time. That has become their comfort zone. They become comfortable in that. And like I say it all the time, and I will continue to say it, for black men and black women, we have become safe in our hate. Hate has become our safety net. And what hate does, hate brings you a sense of empowerment. For instance, when you know you hate something, it gives you this entitlement of being able to mistreat it the way you want, or not having to acknowledge it, not having to respect it. When we hear the word hate, or when we program ourselves to hate something, it automatically gives us that incentive of not having to respect it or to protect it. For instance, if I hate my neighbors next door because me and them, they're Mexican and I'm black, and I just hate them because of their race, and they hate me because of my race, that alone gives us the privilege to feel like we don't have to respect each other. So if I go outside to wash my car and my trash, falls out of my trunk and lands in the yard, shit, well, I don't fuck with them like that. I ain't got to clean it. I ain't got to respect them like that. Or if they don't like me and they see somebody breaking my house and I'm not here, me and my husband were out of town and we're traveling, that gives them privilege to be on some shit. I don't fuck with her. I don't even like blacks. I don't even care for, niggas, as they would say. Shit, somebody breaking their house, I ain't got to report it. They see me come in town, they won't say a word to me about it, because hate gives us that sense of being able to disregard another person's feelings. We don't feel the need, we don't feel the service or the duty to protect. Once you build animosity, once you have programmed yourself to hate a certain person or certain individuals, you automatically feel you have the right to get out of pocket. You have the right to be disrespectful. You have the right to attack that person verbally however you choose because you don't like that person. And what a lot of people are not understanding, for YouTube to supposed to be a place for grown people, there's not grown people. We don't have grown men or grown women. We have a lot of overgrown children that so happen got several means of access to social media through their phone, through their PC, through everything. And we have grown people who don't understand it's a simple rule. Just because you don't like something, it doesn't mean you don't have to respect it. I may see a stray dog walking around in my yard, and I'm very particular about my yard. I don't like all kind of dogs getting loose into my yard. And even though I may not like the fact that that dog is in my yard, I'm not gonna pull out my 9mm Glock 17 and just go shoot him just because he's in my personal space. He's not a major threat to me, other than he's just a dog that's not supposed to be in my yard. Other than that, as long as that dog is not harming my main dog and not harming me physically to where I can't defend myself, then I don't have to hurt that dog, even though it's just a dog. But I still have respect for life, whether if it's through a plant, a dog, and especially a human being. You got a lot of grown men and grown women, they don't know how to be grown. The Black YouTube sector has become an overly populated space for children. It has become a space for children. The Black online YouTube community sector has become a place for keyboard gangsters. I call it keyboard courage. Like, you got liquor courage, people who are more aggressive when they get liquor in a system. They have more confidence and being able to disrespect and say all type of things that they normally wouldn't have the courage to do when they're sober. You have a lot of a lot of individuals who got keyboard courage. They will get behind these keyboards and get way out of pocket. And I know it's a keyboard thing because I'm sure, just like me and the rest of you ladies and guys out there who listen to everything that's going on in the YouTube streets, I run into people, in the black men and black women, in the grocery store, in the barbershop. We don't come at each other like that. We don't give each other that same energy. And it has nothing to do with because they may not know me or not. But my thing is, I'm sure it's several people who are also exposed to the gender war shenanigans that's going on, and you don't see them bringing that same energy out there in the street. A lot of people are just so comfortable with social media because they know there's a lot of things they can get away with saying and doing, and until they cross the wrong person and they really, what they say, a call your bluff, they going to continue to keep behaving in a manner that they behave in, where they don't feel like they got to be adults because they know behind the keyboard, they don't have to defend themselves. So therefore, they have way more courage to be disrespectful and get out of pocket. So nevertheless, getting back to this gender war disease, because that's what we're basically talking about. Unlike with the kidney disease, and that's the analogy I'm using, y'all. When there's already issues, just like a kidney disease, if you have a kidney disease, you are already at a higher risk of more medical issues, meaning diabetes or high blood pressure. So what most diseases or any diseases does, once a disease has been contracted, it makes you more vulnerable, it makes you more open, meaning that now that it's pretty much been well established that you have a lot of broken men and broken women that are already vulnerable, not in a good mental state, meaning you have a lot of us as black men and black women, we're already are going through. We are just going through the challenges of being black and surviving in America. Being black, having to overcome obstacles that a lot of other races don't have to, trying to prove that we are the select, that we should be chosen by society, whether that's through a job or career, We're constantly fighting to get our heads above water because of so many things that we are still trying to overcome. We're still trying to overcome racism, being accepted by other races, being able to have the same opportunities. We're still fighting to climb that ladder. Not only that, we're not only broken by still trying to get ahead in society and get just as much privileges in the American dream as white men and white women, Asians, Puerto Ricans, whatever. A lot of us have damaged childhoods. This is something that a lot of black men and black women are not comfortable with discussing, especially black men. You have a lot of black men that have been raised in dysfunctional households, and a lot of men are not going to be transparent with suffering. You have a few, but not many, that are going to be very transparent about things they have experienced as young black males growing up in a dysfunctional household, whether that dysfunctional household was ran and led by a dysfunctional single mother, or not in, not having a stable father there to give him that masculine balance. So when you don't have a father in the home as a man, you adopt all of your mother's feminine characteristics, being moody, snapping at women all the time, going back and forth, arguing, being petty about every little thing, because there was not a man in the household to give you that masculine balance to show you you can have authority over a woman's feministic energy, but you have to do it in a masculine manner. You don't fight fire with fire. You don't fight feminine energy with feminine energy by arguing and going back and forth and vice versa. So you have some men that have experienced a lot of damage in their childhood. Like I said, if it wasn't a toxic black single mother, there was no father in the home, like I said, to give him masculine balance, or if there was a father in the home, he probably was not a real man. Don't think that every man or woman that has had a father in the household has been exempt from instability. It's a lot of black men and black women who weren't raised in just single parent households. They have mothers and they have fathers. I know plenty of them. But either the father was dysfunctional because he was abusive, he was over authoritative, he was on drugs, he had an alcohol problem. So there's this myth that it's only single parent households that are dysfunctional. And truth be told, there's a lot of households with both parents. And in some cases, that could double the toxicity, especially if the mother is toxic and the father is toxic. So we can't just keep promoting beating the same dead horse, that it's only people from single parent households. Yes, they are in the higher percentage, but let's not forget about those who were raised with two parents that both was incompetent. And it's a lot of us in the black community that have been raised by incompetent parents that was uneducated, not only uneducated, dysfunctional, did not give us the best of stability. So these are just a few examples. You have had black women who were raised by toxic black women who passed down all their toxic character traits. And now you have some women out here who cannot understand why they're going from man to man, from marriage to marriage, why they can't seem to grasp a stable companion, because they have a lot of mental issues that a lot of men are just not cut out for dealing with. A man is a man. He's not a therapist. He could only tolerate and deal with so much, depending on the extent of how damaged the woman is. He may love her enough to be willing to stand by her and comfort her through her dysfunction, or help her get the help she needs. But in most cases, most men aren't going to have the patience to deal with women that come from damaged households. And it's a lot of us that come from damaged households. And not only because we was raised by single mothers, toxic single mothers, not just single mothers, toxic single mothers. We also had dysfunctional fathers. You have a lot of women that have so much animosity towards men, and a lot of it has to do with the fact they were raised in households with men who weren't really men. Your father is supposed to be your first love, and it's unfortunate that a lot of women were cheated out of having the blessing of a real father. Maybe because the father was uh, an excessive alcohol user. He was on drugs. Let's face it. In the 70s and the 80s, the crack epidemic was really off the chain. So you have a lot of black men and black women who have lost their fathers through that crack epidemic. That crack rock was taking lives like people was dropping like fleas. That crack was definitely on fire during the late 70s and the 80s. It was definitely taking people out because that was that real crack. That was that potent stuff. It ain't that Section 8 watered down crack they have today. Well, I don't even think people use crack. I think crack is kind of played out. I don't hear too much about it. I think everybody kind of using that heroin and opium, and they on that damn fentanyl and shit. They on stuff way more crazy than ever now. But that's beside the point. You have some of these black women who grew up, like I said, with fathers that was on them drugs or, like I said, alcohol. And the worst case scenario, it's a lot of black women who are not admitted, but they have encountered a lot of sexual abuse as little girls. It's a lot of black women that are walking around here holding hostility, holding grudges, mean, bitter, and angry because someone they trusted, and in worst case, your own father. A lot of women have been tampered by their own fathers. You'll be surprised how, you'll have both your parents who bring you in this world, and one of those parents, your father, who played a part in your mother birthing you. This is the same man who's taking advantage of you. Now, believe it or not, it's a lot of incest that's going on in the black community. Now, see, this is the stuff that the content creators don't want to talk about. I know this is boring, y'all. This is not entertaining enough. I know it's boring because I'm not going in and trashing just black women and trashing black men, and then some of y'all going troll and still come in here and talk a lot of foolishness because you want to focus on the chaos. You don't want to focus on the corrections. Okay. You want to focus on being messy. You don't want to focus on the message. You want to focus on toxicness instead of focusing on truth. I get it. These are the times we are in now. Even if you're bringing up logical points, a lot of it is going to be overshadowed because, again, it's the gender war disease that has flooded the black community, and that's what everybody wants to focus on. So anyway, um you have a lot of black women that are angry towards black men because they have been sexually molested. Now, I know it's going to be some brothers, oh, you're just making excuses. This is woo, 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 blah, blah, blah. Another feel sorry for black women moment. Well, you're at the wrong channel. The only thing I can tell you is you're welcome to go other places where they will not acknowledge these type of issues, and they will just tell you what you want to hear so you can feel safe in your hate and you can feel comfortable in your chaos. So it is what it is. But nevertheless, this is not the case for all black women. And the analogies I gave before is not this case for all black men. But there's just a few examples. For a woman has not gotten psychological help. She has not gotten a therapist. You'll be surprised how many black women were ignored and neglected as children by their own mothers because they mothers didn't want to believe that Uncle Tommy, who was living there, all them years living off his sister, which is their mother, he was taking advantage of his own niece's youth. You got a lot of young black women that were raped by stepfathers, that were raped by their biological fathers. And if she didn't get any help, she didn't see a psychologist or get any type of professional help, she's harboring all of these childhood issues, and it's a lot of displaced anger. She's going around here taking her frustration out on men who have absolutely nothing to do with her childhood being bruised. Now, we know there's several factors, but at the same time, we also know that there are just some black men and black women that are just nasty. Ain't no mental illness, there is no damaged childhood. You just got some people that are just straight up nasty. They just get a joy out of being nasty. You have some people that get a hard on. They get aroused at just trying to make other people's life miserable. You got some people who eat and drink drama. And it's not because something happened to them during their childhood or whatever. You just have some nasty individuals that are miserable. So any opportunity they can get involved in some chaos or some drama so they can be combative, verbally combative. They can constantly get into it with other people. They're going to get involved because, again, they feed off of misery. It's an adrenaline rush for them. You got some people, drama to some people is like, what is that drug they used to, heroin. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of inmates at my old jail, that I worked at did that heroin. That heroin was just, laced with that fentanyl and taking a lot of lives. But, drama for miserable people is like heroin to a heroin addict. They know it's not good for them, but they love it. They enjoy it. It gets them high. They know they need to leave it alone. They know they don't need to get involved in it, but they just love how it makes them feel. You have a lot of black men and black women. They are hate addicts. They are drama addicts. They're gender war addicts. They love to get into it with the opposite sex. That is their opportunity to vent out all their frustrations. And it's just so funny how a lot of men and women, we don't have that energy for the same sex. I have seen black men devour black women and other black men come at them in a disrespectful manner. They don't give them that same energy. You know, they defend themselves, but they don't be trying to scratch another man's eyeballs out. You have some men, let them get in a conflict with a woman, he will drag her to the pits of hell. And then you have a lot of women that are like that. Same thing. They don't give women the same energy they give a man. You have women who like to challenge man because they feel like he ain't gonna hit me because I'm a woman. I tell my daughter all the time, we're in a different era. Now, back in my day, we used to get in the guy's face and challenge him and go off on him. Guys would just laugh at your ass, make you feel even more like a herd. You know what I mean? It's like a little chihuahua biting on your ankles thinking they doing something. And you just looking down like, you ain't doing shit. What? I mean, you know. So back then, guys, men didn't allow women to bring them to that place to where they felt like they had to be as feminine as that woman by arguing back and yelling back and all of that. That was the era I was from. But this era is different. Men will fight women. They will slap a woman. Even if she didn't hit them first. We're different in some different times where men are different from back then. Men will fight you. They will slap a woman down in public. If she says anything, he will call out a bitch in front of, this men now are way more vocal and aggressive than they ever been. And it's also the other way around. Even women, even when we challenge men, we knew how far to go. We wouldn't say things like bitch ass nigga or you FAG, we knew how far to go. We knew we pushed our buttons, but I got women today, they mouths are more foul than dudes. I've seen grown women curse at grown men like you would think it's two dudes. You got some women that's so overly masculine when they do find themselves in an argument with men. I've heard grown women tell another man to suck their dick. I mean, you got some women that have just become just that masculine in their femininity, that they feel like the only way to get a man to respect them is by being just as hood or ratchet as a man. But what tends to happen is, in this day and age, these men, they will fight you like you a man. Even if you just verbally said something like a man, they don't balance it out. You could cuss a man out like a dog, and instead of him just cussing you back, he'll punch you dead in your mouth like you a dude in the street. I mean, there's no more rules to this, y'all. There's no more rules to this. You can't even draw a line anymore. The line has been erased a long time ago. So this is the state of an emergency. This is where we are right now. And again, When you're already vulnerable, like a kidney, once a person has received the kidney disease, now they're vulnerable. The gender war disease have made us vulnerable. And what it's did is opening up other pathways and airways to other problems. Just like the kidney disease, as I mentioned, once you have been infected with a kidney disease, now you're at greater risk for diabetes or high blood pressure. And this is what has happened with the gender war disease. Now we are at greater risk to chaos, to drama, to doxing, all of these, this inappropriate behavior that these grown men who claim to be grown men and grown women who claim to be grown women, they're engaging in this juvenile behavior, not being able to settle their differences off of social media, without dragging each other through the mud, airing each other's personal business. I guess I'm just cut from a different cloth. From my understanding, if you and the person I fell out, you gracefully go your separate ways. You don't have to air out the time I paid your light bill or the time you paid my water bill. Whatever we did in that friendship, whatever we did, if I loaned you money or you loaned me money, evidently we liked each other. We cared about each other somewhere to freely trust each other with our finances. So why now, because we done fell out and had a disagreement, we want to air everything we ever did for each other? That's that's just very childish. But this is the state of emergency we're in. So this is why the gender war continues to keep increasing at an all-time high, because it has become a disease that has opened the pathway to other problems. Okay, so not only is it opening the gateway to other problems, the main problem at hand right now is that I'm noticing is that and I mentioned this earlier, I'm sure, is that disrespect has become a normalcy. And it's gotten to the point now. I've one of those. I've always been one of them content creators. I try to steer away from channels or from platforms that make me feel uncomfortable. Even if it's not directly towards me, even if you're not saying my name, I cannot be in a circle with people attacking women that I know I have similarities with. I can't be in a space of listening to men drag black women all day. I just cannot do it. Now, keep in mind, in my channel, I do some dragging. I have drag sisters. I drag them with love. I drag them with compassion. I drag them with wanting to better themselves. I don't drag them because of my ego or whatever the case is. I've always been fairly balanced. Anybody who knows that knows me. But I try to steer away. I steer away from these spaces that constantly promote that, and it's gotten to the point now. And I'm sure some of you brothers probably have gone through this. Y'all might be going through this with some of these female content creators, and some of the sisters. Y'all may be going through it like I've gone through it, and it's gotten to the point where the gender war disease has taken such a strong effect to the point to male content creators that I would rock with for a very long time, that I was subscribed to. Some of these channels I was even giving wrenches. I've had a lot of male content creators give me access on their platforms and on their panels just based off the strength that they know I had good intentions, that I was not one of them sisters clout chasing or on a panel because I'm trying to get the men in the chat room to flirt with me or to like me. For the most part, I've always had genuine intentions. And most of the guys, the content creators that I rock with, they know this. And I've never fallen out with any of them so far that I know of. But what I'm starting to notice is now even the gender war disease is affecting how black men and black women who did have positive relationships online, how now it's contaminating that. And to give you an example is that I'm starting to notice some of the content creators, the male content creators that I would support and rock with, whether if it was hanging out in a chat room or I did a panel too, what I'm starting to notice is that they are allowing other individuals, these other gender war pesticides. Basically, these individuals that have programmed themselves to hate women. They have allowed them, they have given them um, new seats in their chat room. And because a lot of these guys are more focused on the views of their platform and channel, they're not noticing the pesticides, the gender war pesticides. These guys and females are also guilty of it, that are coming from other spaces that have always promoted the negativity of gender war beef. Now these individuals, they're starting to spread themselves, um you know, from space to space. Now they're contaminating, they're becoming like clout roaches. That's what I'll call them, clout roaches. After they done burnt out their welcome in one gender war space, either they fell out with somebody or they got into it with somebody, got into it with the content creator, and they took their wrench, blocked them, whatever. They got to find a new space to stir up confusion and chaos. And because everybody wants views so bad, they want people to tithe in and become a part of their brand so they get more donations. They will give these people a space and not investigate them, not really put in the pieces of where they came from. And what has happened is a lot of numbers have jaded a lot of these content creators from being able to observe and pay attention to people coming from spaces and causing gender war infestation and their channel and a platform when it wasn't originally like that. And it's gotten to the point now, what I'm realizing is, because this gender war disease is at an all-time high, now you have a lot of male content creators that are allowing their female subscribers to be disrespected and to be mistreated. Because now, even though if this female has shown her loyalty, she's always donated, cashed out, always been supportive of your channel for many years, has been a wrench, blocking trollers and all of that. All it takes is for one of the most dedicated, loyal female subscribers to get into it with the new gender war parasite, and because he's a man, now he will side with the man over his loyal female subscribers. Because again, it's that gender war disease that's spreading like cancer, that's telling men that if you defend women or if you protect women, and I'm not just saying just protect every woman that comes to you crying, or cover every woman that seems to be having an issue with your male subscribers or your male panelists being disrespectful to her. At the end of the day, woman got to fight her own battles. But at the same time, you as a man, you know when a man is doing too much. Like me as a woman, I know when a woman is doing too much. I'm not about to let none of my male subscribers be attacked by any of my female subscribers or my female panelists. I'm not going to allow, I'm not going to give her a pass because she's a female. But what I'm starting to notice is a lot of these men, y'all are giving other men a pass to disrespect your loyal female supporters because you don't want to be called a simp. And I've seen, and I'm telling you, I've seen some of these black, with all due respect, if it doesn't apply, I don't have to reply, because all black men don't do this. I know, because I have a lot of guys that are subscribed to me and they don't bring me that crazy energy. I got a lot of them, Datorian, King Bob, Cool Gent, it's Met V. I got all kind of, I got my same guys who've been rocking with me. So I'm not gonna sit up here and say all black men do it, because I know all black men don't do it. Even though a lot of these brothers don't have that same empathy for us, they say all black women, all black women. There's no, leniency, whatever. But I notice how, these guys will allow their female supporters to be disrespected because they don't want to be considered a simp or incel. Because some of these gender war parasite dudes and gender war parasite females, they will intentionally come to a space that so far has had good energy for the most part, and they will stir it up. They will stir up a bee's nest. And the moment a guy or male consecrator say, hey, don't get on sis like that. She cool. She don't bring no heat, blah, blah, blah. You an incel. You simping. You blah, blah, blah. And it's like, because of the gender war outrage, and especially with the loss, the significant loss that has taken place with the manosphere. Now, if a man defends a woman, even if she's not being messy and she's conducting herself like a woman and she's been a loyal supporter of him, he is willing to risk that now to avoid being considered a simp. That is where we are. And it's no different with the women. You have women who also have had loyal male subscribers that have always rocked with them, and they didn't allow these manosphere mentality to contaminate them supporting certain sisters. But when you have, all you need is your loyal male subscribers to fall out with a gender war parasite female coming into the space, and he says something she doesn't like, or vice versa, and she's saying this is why black women don't need to rock with black men, why y'all got black men up in the chat room, why you have a wrench. You have some sisters, they will boot their loyal male subscribers just to appease to a female parasite that only had the intentions of coming there stirring up the confusion to begin with. And you know what? It's been some women that have booted loyal male subscribers for messy female subscribers, only to find out she ended up having to get rid of the bitch her damn self. Okay? That's how it always goes. You never get rid of your right-hand man, whether if that's a man or a one man, somebody who's been loyal, somebody who's been down by law subscriber, panelist, or whatever. You don't let go of your loyal people. You don't let your loyal people get disrespected. But with the gender war disease is plaguing the black online community to the point now, you put your channel at risk, you put your reputation at risk if you defend the opposite gender. And it's gotten to the point now you have to pick a side. You cannot be a balanced content creator. Balanced content creators do not get the shine and notoriety that we deserve, and we never will, and I'm okay with that. And the reason why is because when you pick one side, that gives you more of an advantage to be controversy, and that gives you more of the advantage to be biased, and that is what people want. People don't want a mutual understanding. They want somebody that's going to go in and put these black women in check. Don't try to read them between the lines. Don't only apply to certain black women. They want a one size fits all. They want to apply to everybody. And the same thing with female content creators. They want to put all black men in the same box. When you got all black men around here aren't dusties. And God dare if I say it, I'm a mammy. All black men are not dusties. Yes, we have a high population of them, but it's a lot of them out here who handling their business. Matter of fact, most men who handle their business, they're the ones, they're not even online like that. I've spoken to a couple of guys, when I mention some of their channels, they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Most of them say, I don't have time to be online like that. I work. I got a family. Now, my own husband, for instance, he knows nothing about manosphere. He knows nothing about, he's heard of, with all due respect to Kevin Samuels, but he don't really know him like that. If you were to ask him, he'll be like, oh yeah, that's the guy that the women be calling, but that's all he can tell you. He don't have any feelings into none of these, individuals, no disrespect. But that's why my husband, and a lot of men out there that's not so invested in arguing with women back and forth, because they're not that invested into none of these men in these spaces. A lot of times my husband, he's always looking at carpentry, looking at how to put in engines and stuff on YouTube. He does not partake in no manosphere, nothing. He knows nothing about it. And I'm more surprised when I talk to men, and it's not just him, when I bring up what's the manosphere, they don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know what that, I work too much. I got a family. I'm fishing, or I go golfing, or I like to shoot pool. You got some guys, they not that heavy into tech, into social media, where they can name 5-6 different content creators off the head, off the dome. So, and it's not to knock those who do it, if you, that doesn't mean you don't work or don't have a job, but I'm just saying, um, you, it's a lot of people out here that's not investing into the gender war disease. They're not invested in it. That's why they're not arguing back and forth. They're not, you know, um, they're not that, and they're just not that invested in it. I just think we're at a state of an emergency where the reason there's so much beef and animosity towards black men and black women because there's an overindulgence in the black YouTube community sector. There's a lot of overindulgence, meaning it's a lot of people that have invested so much feelings. Not only have people invested feelings, a lot of people have invested donations. A lot of people have invested super chats. A lot of people have invested their emotions and their feelings into these content creators. And it's good, but it's bad if you have content creators that are promoting very biased narratives coming from their own negative experiences from the opposite sex. Um, Black women only trash on black men because they have not had the best of experiences. And the moment a black woman has something positive to say about a black man, she's mammy. Or, you know what I mean? She's not respected for that. But because she does have an experience that's different compared to the bitter sisterhood, she's going to get clowned for that. She's going to be made a mockery out of it. Same thing with a man. There's not too many men that can go in these spaces and brag about how good their wife is. Brag about how much they love their woman. It's sad, but if a man just expresses how much love he has for his woman, they'll say he's simping. We cannot. This is how you know the black race has become a total disgrace, because if we display love, we display weakness. Do y'all ever think about that? A woman displays how much she loves her man, how much she loves her husband. Oh, she doing too much. Oh, they think you bragging when really you got so many women out here who got such an abundance of negative experiences that the moment one sister shares a positive experience, they'll think you trying to show your ass. You trying to outstunt on them. Because you're not dragging your man through the mud to help approve their narratives that black men ain't shit. You ain't helping to promote the narrative, so they don't want to hear your positive story. It's the same thing with black men. You don't dare sit up there and say how your wife is a beautiful woman, how she cooks, she cleans. It's always going to be that damn pesticide that's going to say, man, you simping. Man, ain't no real black women out there. I bet if you dug up her history, they'll find a way to make you find fault in something that's precious to you. And that's why it's very important in these YouTube streets. You got to have your own mind, because these people will make you so hostile. You listening to all this poison, constantly day in and day out, hearing how black men ain't garbage. You listen to that day in and day out. And eventually, you hear it long enough, you'll believe it. Same thing. If you hearing men drag women and call women trash bags all day, if that's all you listen to, you're gonna believe it. It becomes repetitive. It becomes like a broken record. That's all you hear. That's eventually all you're gonna believe. And to be honest, again, being comfortable in that safe hate, a lot of us, we don't want to broaden our horizons. They won't even go look into other things on YouTube. They'll just go straight to the channels that bash women, or go straight to the channels that bash men. Now, it's one thing when you getting at sisters, but you're doing it from a place of love. You getting at black men, but you're doing it from a place of love. And sometimes it got to be tough love. But it doesn't always have to be digs to get your message across. Because to be honest, digs just makes people resent your message even more. When you're throwing insults, you're throwing your name calling, and you're not being transparent about where you failed. Even content creators. Let me tell y'all something about content creators. content creators, it takes a lot to be on top. And if you're not careful as a content creator, people will drive you to a place to where your health starts declining, your stress level gets high. You sometimes, as a content creator, you can become so consumed with trying to appease to your audience by constantly pushing the narrative, pushing the narrative, pushing the narrative, pushing the narrative, pushing the narrative. You can become so consumed with pushing the narrative, especially if it's a narrative that your people love, that you will neglect taking care of yourself trying to appease to your audience. That's why, as a content creator, I don't care if you're a man or you're or woman, you cannot become addicted to pleasing your audience, because you will lose your health and you can lose your wealth in some instances. Because it's a lot. When you got so many people who value what you do, who admire what you do, but y'all don't know the stress that a lot of content creators go behind trying to appease to your audience. Do you not realize some content creators, they got to pretend to be something they're not? And it starts to take a toll on them when you have to keep putting up this front to appease your audience, because the moment they find out you're something you're not, everything it took you years to accumulate with your platform, you can lose it in a matter of seconds with just one mishap, one glitch, one anything. A lot of content creators, we know how to play the part. A lot of us not have learned how to perform, meaning hide behind our struggles, hide behind our unhappiness. Now you got some that's gonna be genuine, like I'm one. I'm gonna tell you, I had a hard day today. I'm going through. I'm gonna tell you, but the more you front as a content creator, the harder you put up this exterior that you got it together. And not only you putting up the exterior that you got it together, you got to actually have it together. And it comes to a point, it's like being a celebrity. You become inhumane because you become obsessed and addicted to appeasing and pleasing your audience that you lose yourself. A lot of content creators have lost their health. Their health declined trying to please their audience. And believe it or not, some content creators, they know they need to change the narratives, because believe it or not, certain things you talk about, it can take a toll on your stress. It's like anything else. It's like a chain reaction. You put out positive narratives, it gives you a positive spirit. It gives you a positive sense of enlightenment. So you're it's that positive exchange, you know. But when you're constantly putting out negative narratives, what you put out, you're getting back. And it takes a toll. Think about it. I know a lot of y'all don't believe me. For instance, let's use a simple example. Have you ever seen somebody, okay, for example, you might have seen a woman struggling toting groceries to her car. And it wasn't your business to help, but you stopped to help her anyway. Y'all may not admit it, but I'm sure it made you feel a little warm. Or if you see somebody struggling to put gas in their car, and you just nice enough to say, you know what, here's $10 to put in your tank. Or if you see a homeless person in the street, and several cars have passed that homeless person, but you decide to stop and put $5 in that person's hand, and that homeless person says thank you. You may not admit it, but you feel some type of warmth. It's something about when you do good by people, it brings some type of goodness. It makes you feel the spirit. It brings you a spirit of goodness when you're doing good by somebody, even if it's in small gestures. Now, a lot of y'all may not admit it. Let's say if you arguing with somebody in the chat room, or you getting at people, or you beefing with people, no matter on the outside, it may look like you enjoying it, but when you log off and you're not in the presence of the people, you got to, I'm sure if you're a human being, it makes you feel some type of way. It bothers you. Not to say that you got to let your enemy know it bothers you, but you notice when you get yourself a confrontation that it takes a toll on you. It starts to make you feel low in a certain type of way or whatever. It's because whatever you put out there, that is what you're receiving back. And the problem with a lot of content creators is that we become so addicted, and a lot of us and a lot of us are proud of the narratives that we push because of the love and the support we get. But the problem is, sometimes you become so consumed and bashing, trashing other individuals to the point it starts to take a toll on your mental health. Constantly putting people in check, it's very demanding. As you get big in this game, and even though you have some people who act like they love to be Mr. It or Miss It on top, you don't know what these content creators go through behind closed doors to keep their audience content. Because the world is very demanding. That's the thing about it. Once people gain a certain amount of admiration or love for you, you start to become obligated. You feel like you can't let them down. Even if you're tired of preaching what you're preaching, even if you're tired of teaching what you're teaching, not only you don't want to let your fans down, because believe it or not, because of them, that is the reason why you have the level of success you have. So you don't want to change the narratives because you don't want to lose your audience. But at the same time, you also don't want to lose the money. You get addicted to the money. Let's face it, controversy brings money. Long as you got to pick a side in these YouTube streets, you got to pick a side. You don't pick a side, you're not going to survive. Ain't no money going in your pockets or whatever. You got to be a drill sergeant. You got to go in on black women all day. That's how you want your channel to stand. That's how you want your pockets to stay full. That is your assignment. No different. If you want your platform to grow as a black woman, you got to go in on black men all day. Bottom line, this is the game you sign up for. Once you start that narrative, you got to keep that narrative rolling. But what tends to happen is, but like I said, behind closed doors, it takes a toll on your personal life. You got some content creators that feel so overly obligated to their fans to where they don't take a break off from the internet. They don't take a break off from YouTube. You got some content creators who have become so obsessed with keeping their fans and admiration, or their followers and admiration of them. They're afraid that if they don't upload or go live for 2 days, that they're going to lose 20 subscribers. You can become so consumed with putting up this false advertisement that you lose your real self behind closed doors. A lot of content creators, they're not taking their medicine like they're supposed to because they're too busy trying to appease to their audience. They're not going to the doctor regularly. They're not eating healthy. They're indulging in unhealthy lifestyles. Let's face it. Once you hit a certain bracket, or you hit a certain plateau as a content creator, and you start making all these donations, you start making all of this money, you're able to promote books, you're able to do shows, you're able to fly first class to conferences in California, all this other stuff. Money makes you more what you are. If you was arrogant while you was broke, you're going to become even more arrogant while you rich. If you was a male whore or a thought when you was broke, you're going to be a rich thought and a rich male whore. Money just enhances your back qualities, or it makes you indulge in new activities that you wouldn't do when you was poor and in a struggle because you didn't have the money to do it. Sometimes, I'm telling you, sometimes being in a struggle is a blessing. Sometimes when a person gets too much, they do too much. So if you're struggling and you don't have what your neighbors have, your friends have, That may be God's way of protecting you. Because one thing about it, give a drunk $20, give a drunk $20,000. Them $20,000 to kill that drunk in 2 seconds. But with that $20, that drunk can't drink no more than what he can get out them $20. Have a lot of content creators who struggle and came from nothing, and once they reach the plateau in YouTube and they're making money, they're doing things they normally don't do. They're indulging into drugs. They're indulging into multiple women, multiple men, indulging into unhealthy sexual lifestyles. Prostitutes, call girls, and women, they're not off the hook. They overspend. Women that were coming to struggle before being a content creator and start getting successful, they're overspending. They're putting themselves in more debt because you got the piece to the fans. You got to buy all these expensive additives, pocketbooks, clothes, designer labels, hair, whatever, to appease to your fans. Because you don't want to look like you struggling. There's a lot of content creators who have lost themselves in this gender war disease. Because once you start something, you feel obligated to finish it. It's kind of like being a drug dealer. And let's say you sell heroin, you heroin dealer. You got all these heroin addicts who done become addicted off of your product. And even though you love what you are receiving from them purchasing the drugs from you, purchasing your product, they get a high off of your supply. At the same time, the more you put out there, the demands, the more you supply, the higher the demands. Because guess what? Now that heroin addict, they don't put on other heroin addicts about your product. So now you got to keep supplying, even when you're tired, because again, the money becomes addictive. The success becomes addictive. Content creators, a lot of content creators have insomnia, trying to constantly come up with new topics, new ideas, new catchy narratives to keep you interested. It's a lot. And behind closed doors, you don't know what they're going through to appease to y'all. You don't know if they got to drink every time they come on live or drink when they come off live. Because it's a lot sitting up here for hours at a time talking to people. People are very draining. Why you think some counselors and therapists retire? Why do you think correctional officers, any position in which you got to deal with people and talk to people all the time, it will drain your mental. A lot of content creators have lost all their mental, physical, and emotional. You find yourself becoming more cold because you're tired, you're exhausted. You're actually tired of talking to people. You're tired of doing panels. You're tired of taking calls. You're tired. You want to rest. But at the same time, you done got addicted to the success. You done got addicted to the money. You done got addicted to the attention. Sometimes a lot of content creators, they love the attention more than they love the money. That's why some of them, I don't care how much you don't cash out them, they still gonna do their content because they just as much is in love with the attention as they are the money. Now they'll sit up there and threaten you. I ain't gonna do the show. I'm not gonna finish the show if I don't get no cash outs. They're not going anywhere because they done got addicted. Now, also to the attention, the gender war disease has caused a lot of beef on panels. You have men and women that was cool, used to do panels, used to do content together. Now they can't stand each other. A lot of it's this gender war infestation. Because let me tell you something. You already got black men that are rooting for other black men to fall out with black women and black women to fall out with black men. You also have black women that are rooting and can't wait for the opportunity when a certain female content creator falls out with another male content creator. Again, because it's this gender war disease. We know once we can cause division amongst one another, then that's the more we can benefit. Now, when I talk about how the gender war disease has become very cancerous. It's starting to spread like cancer. No, the gender war disease has spread like cancer. So what that brings us to the next definition. What is cancer? A disease caused by an uncontrolled division of abnormal cells in a part of the body. Now let me tell you how this correlates with the Black community sector. Like I told y'all, I gave y'all the definition of what a disease was. A disease is like an infestation, an intrusion. Something entered into a certain group to cause that infiltration, cause that abruption, cause that contamination. A disease caused by an uncontrolled division of abnormal cells. Okay, what's an uncontrolled division? We don't need a rocket scientist to figure that out. Uncontrolled division, Black men and Black women who are divided because nobody ain't got no goddamn self-control. Nobody's not controlling anything. Of abnormal cells. Okay, what would it mean abnormal? A lot of us are already abnormal in our own special way, which is the reason why there's already division and there's no control on top of the division. In a part of the body. What's the body? The Black community as a whole. Another definition of cancer is a malignant growth or tumor. Keep it simple for those who on the pre-K reading level. A tumor resulting from the division of abnormal cells. That's the Black community. We have become a huge tumor resulting from our division, meaning we're divided, we're not connecting, we don't get along, of abnormal cells, meaning because we're already dysfunctional individuals within our own way. And it has caused a tumor that has grown. And the tumor is the gender war disease, the gender war beefing. That's the tumor resulting from the division. Supposed to be the Black community is divided because everybody is individually has some type of dysfunction or malfunction. Even though we don't want to admit that, what the Black online community wants to do is talk about each other's malfunction. Nobody wants to own their own. And we love to preach accountability. Both sides do. Black men, Black women. And the truth of the matter is, every last one of us are allergic to accountability. Now, you may have a select few. Yeah, I know I'm effed up. I know I got issues. I know I got to work on it. But for the most part, Black people in general are allergic to accountability. And we just want to make it seem like accountability is a Black man problem, a Black woman problem. And it's basically a person who lacks self-accountability problem. Cancer is also a practice or phenomenon perceived to be evil or destructive and hard to contain. Using in a sentence, gambling is a cancer sweeping across the nation. Gender war is a cancer sweeping across the Black online community. Other words, it has become a practice, a major narrative, basically, that's perceived to be evil and destructive because it is. It's just straight destructive. Now, for those who are already bitter and toxic, they are loving this. They loving every bit of this. They eating this type of dysfunction for breakfast. They love it. You have some people, they cannot function under peaceful means. You got a lot of Black men and Black women. I've seen them. I've seen when I would go in the chat room and try to be the mediator when I see Black men and Black women getting into it and say, hey, we all need to find a common ground. We all need to try to get along. It's always that one toxic brother. No, it's y'all Black women who got the problem. Or it's that one toxic sister. It's these black men who got the problem, and it's black women like you who causing it because y'all being mammies. Y'all not making them be take accountability. So some people just love to disagree. Some people love confusion. Don't think that all black men are sensible and don't like confusion, because truth be told, I've seen a lot of them act like little girls. Especially these last couple of days. They've been acting like the black women they complain about. They yelling, screaming, getting mad because people won't show empathy, sympathy, and you know, I'm used to black women being messy. Not that this makes them less accountable, but I'm used to us being messy. But when I'm seeing grown men doing it, I'm like, now we in problem. Now we got a problem. Now we got a problem. You got, black men in their feelings, and they're overly emotional because women are not showing a certain level of compassion. And you got sisters who are rubbing it in because now they feel like victory has won. There's somebody who made a significant impact, finally, got removed from the equation. But the truth is, ain't none of us winning. None of us ain't won nothing. Because black men still gonna be nasty to black women, and black women still gonna be nasty to black men. There are no winners. There are no winners. So for those of you such as myself who are woke and see it's more of a spiritual warfare instead of a gender war, because we know what's going on. That's the enemy's job. Enemy Satan himself, his job is to steal, kill, and destroy. And I've come to the realization that you have some black people, they will be content. Some black people are content with stealing and killing and destroying. Some of them love it. Some of them sleep peacefully at night, knowing they destroyed somebody, knowing they tore down somebody's self-esteem. You got some men and women that enjoy it. It makes their day. It gives them, like I said, you got some. It's like a heroin to a heroin addict. It's like dope to a dope fiend. It makes them feel good and powerful until it wears off. Now they got to find a new victim. They got to get high another way by disrespecting another black woman or disrespecting another black man. You done disrespected this person long enough. It don't wear off, so you don't even feel nothing disrespecting them. So you got to find a new way to get high. You got to find a new victim to get high off of. This is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. My heart, definitely goes out, to the individual who lost his life, only because he's a human being, not because I'm a fan or a foe. It is what it is. We all got a time to be born and a time to die. But we could sit here and go back and forth all day about who did what started this. The gender war has been going on for a significant amount of time, and that was before we lost certain individuals, and it's going to continue to keep going after we done lost individuals. It's not going to go away. You have some men who love this. You have some men who breathe and sleep attacking black women because they've experienced a lot of rejection issues. It's not just the handsome, good-looking guys. It's a lot of the unattractive ones that was already angry at the fact they wasn't getting played, they wasn't getting the attention they wanted. So now the gender war disease has given them that ability to verbalize that. So it has given them that boldness, things they normally would not even say or agree to with an average woman. Now they have the confidence. Same thing with some of the sisters. It's done the same thing with them. A lot of them are bitter and jaded about men who have wronged them in the past, or their baby daddy not being dependable. So anytime a sister goes in on brothers, they it's like being in church. They're able to relate to the message because it hit close. It hits close to home. It hit dog or holler. But I like to say this before I wrap it up. The gender war disease is at an all-time high. It's going to continue to get more and more out of hand. And I've come to the realization that I may even lose some really good friends unless they're awoke and have spiritual discernment. Because again, now it's all about defending your own gender. And you know, a lot of these guys now, if it takes getting rid of the loyal female uh followers, supporters, to prove they're not a simp, I won't be surprised if I or other sisters become that sacrificial lamb. And y'all got to realize, let me, and same thing, like I said with the sisters, y'all got to realize this. Um, just to put some of you guys on, and you don't have to receive this or not, but this is the reason why a lot of sisters are divesting or whatever they call it, and they trickling over to the Bitter Sisterhood Committee. Now, you have a lot of these female supporters who try to give these guys a benefit of a doubt, support them, follow them, trying to be supportive or whatever. And these content creators, they allow, and I mentioned this earlier, they allow their audience, they allow the men in the audience to disrespect the female content creators. They loyal female followers. They allow these dudes to disrespect them. And what's going on is when people feeling disrespected, and I'm sure some of you guys have done this. I mean, some of you guys, y'all might have been really loyal subscribers of certain female platforms and gotten disrespected by the female attack dogs, by the chihuahuas in the chat room. And because she don't want to be considered a mammy in front of these thousands of women in their chat, she's not going to check that female for disrespecting you. And this is the reason why the division is going to continue to keep spreading, because the more that you have these loyal subscribers, they're observing how they're being disrespected by the opposite gender with a content creator who they support. They're going to feel like, you know what, these black women was right. These divestors was right. There's no purpose in me supporting black men, because look how this man let another man disrespect me. I've been rocking with his panel. I've been part of his channel. I've been a follower of his channel for 2-3 years. And he let somebody who just come in, a new dude, because he's a man, disrespect me, all because this other guy has been on his panel for a long time, like I have. And even though I'm not being disrespectful to his male guest is being disrespectful to me, he's going to leave me hanging out there in the cold, because, again, it's this gender war disease that has made men believe you don't have to defend these women. If you defend these women, even when she's being attacked, you are a simp. And the same thing with these guys that have been supporting these females. When they see that they are constantly being disrespected by female followers and their favorite female content creator is not putting these women in check, they're going to go side with the men, because they're going to feel like, yeah, now I see what the brothers was talking about. You can't support these black women. You can't support, it's sad. It's going to continue to keep dividing, because the gender war has taught us that it is okay to disrespect each other. The gender war disease has taught us that if you defend the opposite gender, you are a mammy or you are a simp. It's not about if she's a good woman or she follows you. This is a woman. And if just the strength of that, you should get rid of her and defend the brothers just because of that. Even if he's been an ass in the whole chat and you didn't even take the time to look into the conversation to see what provoked her to go at him, you just going on the fact he's a man, we're going to stay divided. It's going to continue to stay divided. But this is where we're at, y'all. We are at a state of an emergency. Black people are each other's worst enemy. And I'm not going to also leave without saying this. It's not just a gender war, because I'm also seeing a lot of black men disrespect other black men. And black women disrespect other black women. Black people as a whole is one of the most toxic communities I have ever seen. And I used to think that it was just on the job or in the neighborhood, but it's definitely online, because people got so much free will to do it. And again, it's that being keyboard gangsters and having that keyboard courage. to get out of pocket. It's just a lot of disrespect. Disrespect has come the norm of black men towards black women towards black men towards black men, black women towards black women. Not only that, now y'all have these pandering pesticides who all of a sudden got so much love for black women. These non-colored men, non-colored women, they pandering to black women now because they see black women ain't getting no love from their own men. So now they're trying to make a profit and earn our love and earn our recognition by showing us love that we're not used to getting from our own men. And it's game. And you got men, y'all are no different. Y'all got these non-colored women now, these biracial women, exoticas and all of that now. They starting their own channel and their own movement. And they're playing off the strength of the fact that they already know that you don't like black women, you don't like dark-skinned women. So they know they can join the movement and pretend they for black men. And y'all will go for it because y'all so used to black women not having y'all best, y'all best interest. Y'all will believe it. And it's all game until you piss one of them off and you find out a woman is a woman. And that's what a lot of you men not understanding. A woman is a woman. You piss a woman off, regardless of her color, her ethnicity, she's black or white, she's going to make your life a living hell. You get all these black men that are getting killed by these black women and by these non-colored women. And the judges ain't doing nothing about it. The judges ain't doing nothing about it no more than the white men that are killing black women. And y'all want to keep promoting. Y'all are so overjoyed. I never seen the black community so overjoyed when we lose one of our own. Black men rejoicing when black women are killed, whether if it's through police brutality or the white zaddy. And black women, they're proud as well if a white woman kills a black man. Now let that be your son. Let that be your brother. I mean, we just get so much joy out of seeing each other destroyed. And, that's why I know I'm not going to have too much time in this space. I'm going to end up retiring quicker than what I would like because I don't care for the energy. It's just so terrible and it's just so raggedy. The black community sector is so raggedy and I really don't know how much longer I can take because I'm just not, I can't just, function in its confusion and chaoticness. But we'll see how things pan out, y'all. Leave y'all opinion below. Let me know what y'all think about this gender war disease. Before y'all leave, please hit that like button. Share the video. I would really appreciate it if you do. I don't mind comments. I don't mind disagreements. But as soon as one of y'all come in here talking reckless and greasy, baby, I'm going to hand you them eviction papers and you will be thrown out. So I know y'all supposed to be adults, but lately y'all ain't been acting like it. So if you come in here acting like a little child, talking crazy and greasy, you just gonna get the boot. And we just gonna keep it moving, that's all. So, nevertheless, y'all, I'ma shut it down. Leave y'all opinion. Let me know what y'all think it is. It is your girl, your diva. And knowledge, Lady Mocha. Represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. And ladies and gentlemen, find your own zone. Do not get consumed in these YouTube streets. They are very toxic. Please make sure you are making some personal time just to have some time for yourself and detox from the social media sometimes. So anyway, y'all, I'll holler at y'all soon. Take care, people.